Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? My name is Makeda Valletta, and I'm live on my page, Makeda Valletta Travels, on my Instagram page. I will save this and repost it to my YouTube, so be sure you follow me in both places. And I may also post it on my Renaissance Amazon page too, because of what I'm about to talk about. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with me, I am a Harlem native who currently lives in Chicago, and I travel a lot, both internationally and nationally. And when I travel, I don't travel with rose-colored glasses. You know, like I see a lot of people who, when they go places, like, you know, you'll see travel bloggers. Every place they go, they're praising it like it's the best place ever, and they don't want to, you know, talk about the realities. I look deeply at culture. I analyze, you know, things. I understand it's not where you're at, it's where you're from. So I take all those things into consideration. And so right now I really want to do a talk about the epidemic of black women, okay? Black American women, not just black American women, it's also, I think, black women from the UK. But there's been a good number of black American women who have been murdered in the Gambia. And just, you know, a variety of there's been a string of mysterious deaths, okay? A black American woman in the Gambia, which is a West African country. And I made a video a few days ago saying, hey, Bahia, talking about how Africa is not my home, okay? There's this idea that Africa is the motherland, which I don't ascribe to, okay? First of all, I feel like all land is sacred on the planet, okay? I really don't believe in saying that one part of the earth is more sacred than the other. But if I had to say, I would say that the Americas is the motherland, okay? And I have I could give a whole lecture on that, okay? But there's been, you know, a whole lot of black Americans moving to Africa, to Ghana and stuff, and you have this, or different African countries, and you have this whole year of the return, which I have been saying was a scam, okay? Where Ghana is saying, come back home, and first of all, that's not our home, okay? I don't feel like I look like them, and I don't feel like our foods are alike. I'm not even, you know, West African food doesn't even look appetizing to me, and I don't mean any offense, I'm just saying it doesn't. And their culture is completely different. Like, I remember when I was fresh out of college, my first boyfriend out of college was Nigerian. And I remember my dad told me to read the book Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. He said the way that they relate and deal with their family members is completely different than us, right? And I didn't understand that then. But just in me dealing with him, there were things, and I can't remember now because that was like 20 years ago, but I just remember noticing things that were very different with how they deal with their family and how we deal with ours. So there's huge cultural differences, okay? And so to say that Africa is your home when you have no connection to it, okay? Don't speak the language, okay? In Africa, people are speaking indigenous languages. Of course, they speak a European language because they were colonized, but they are usually speaking several African languages that you don't speak. They do not see us as their brother or sister, which black Americans are completely naive about that. And I've been aware of that because my dad, another thing about me, I was raised by Pan-Africanists, okay? And I think there's an issue with that as well. But let me just say, I was raised by black scholars, you know, who are Pan-Africanists, and my dad was heavily involved in the civil rights movement. He was a part of the organization that strategically put the Black Panthers together. It's an organization called RAM, Revolutionary Action Movement. He was actually one of the founding members. And my dad said in the 60s, he knew a lot of black Americans that moved to Africa, and every single last one of them came back because it was not what they thought, okay? He even knew a woman who moved to Africa to be a wife of, you know, a lot of African men be having a compound with a bunch of wives. And she moved there for that. And when she came back to America, she never wanted to be anybody's wife again. Okay, that's how traumatized she was. Now, this whole idea of like a strong black woman, I think that fits, you know, or this outspoken, strong black woman, I think that fits black American women. I think many of the women, the black women in the diaspora, are very mute and quiet and just accept the injustices and the abuse from men, okay, and just being subordinate. So and this is the thing too, when you travel, again, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. So this is the reason why for me, like, I have a love-hate relationship with traveling internationally, okay? Every time I leave the country, I'm glad to come back to America, okay? There's no country that I've been to that I said, I want to live in this country over America. I don't, okay? Every country has its pros and cons. I will take America's cons over other countries. Like, people complain about the police in America. The police are a whole lot more corrupt in these other countries, okay? More corrupt in Jamaica, more corrupt in Russia, more corrupt in African countries, okay? The Nigerian police are the most corrupt police in the world. Do you think that them protesting or doing anything is going to change shit? No, it's not. Because already their government is super corrupted. There's corruption in every government. Corruption in every government. Every government has some corruption. But there's levels to it. And when you travel internationally, you as a foreigner, it's like, you're always going to be guilty, okay? No one's going to try to protect you. Unlike America, where America protects people who are not even legal citizens. America protects people who ain't even supposed to be here and been here forever. America takes people who are coming here illegally and gives them housing and credit cards and shit they won't give their U.S. citizens, right? Yeah, someone said you basically have to pay every officer you pass by in Nigeria. I heard the same thing was true in Ghana, okay? I know I was bribed in Mexico. Never paid them, but they tried to get me to. But I heard that in Ghana, you have to pay every police officer when they pull you over no matter what. That level of corruption is worse to me. I've never had to pay a cop in America, and I don't know anybody that has. So that's why when people were having this whole argument in America about Black Lives Matter, to me, I'm like, it's bigger than that. Police brutality is a worldwide issue. It's not an American issue, and it's not just a black issue. It's not just a white cop and a black people issue. There's black cops and black people. It's, you know, but it's also the whole entire world has a corruption issue with the police. That's not unique to America. And I see people online, you know, trying to attack black Americans who, you know, want to be in America. And they're like, oh, you want to be there and the police don't even like you and you have to worry about being black? First of all, I don't worry about being black, okay? I don't. And yeah, the police can be an issue here, but they can be way worse. Everybody else's jails are worse, okay? Everybody else's police are worse, all right? And this, you know, looking at Africa, because I was raised around black scholars and tons of books in my house, most people whose houses I go to, they don't even have books, okay? So when you actually, you know, are studying culture and stuff, you understand that Africans, this whole idea that we're all black and united, and because you're black, you're my sister, and because you so-called look like me, when honestly, I don't feel like people in Ghana look like me, so what does that even mean, right? But people that have this mindset and they think that, you know, we're all united and we all should care for each other, look out for each other, and let me leave America and go move to Africa where everybody's black and this is my utopia, is delusional. Because they don't look at us like brothers and sisters. They look at us like foreigners from a foreign land, period. Okay? And if you're a light-skinned black person, they usually look at you like you're white. Okay? So you could be over here saying you're black, you're black, you're black. You're light-skinned, you go over there, they don't see you as black at all. They call you white. A lot of times they do that in Jamaica as well. Okay? So the thing is that if you go on YouTube, and I'll post some of the videos below on my YouTube channel, but there are a few channels, okay, of people black Americans who moved to Africa who have YouTube channels talking about these women being deleted, okay, in the Gambia. And one woman, she's from New York, because I see a lot of these people are from California, and I feel like California people are super hippy-dippy and naive, okay? But there's one woman who had moved from New York, right? And you could tell all of her New York accent. Well, let me just say race is a social construct, and I'm going to do another video about that, because what people consider black in America is not, other countries may not consider that black, okay? And there are people in America who will say, I'm 100% black, I'm 100% black, I'm not mixed with anything, but you clearly are. It's just that in America you don't claim it, you just say you're black. You ignore that. But other countries will. So like in Brazil, if you look up what percentage of Brazilians are black, you'll find that most of them aren't black. They're mixed blood. So Brazilians really use that mixed blood category, whereas black Americans, I mean, not just black, Americans don't. Americans say you're white or you're black. When most people in America are mixed, whether you identify as black or whether you identify as white, most people are mixed, okay? We just don't acknowledge that. We only acknowledge it in America if you have one parent, two parents who claim to be two different things, then people will say you're mixed. But most of us are. But because Africans are very much by their tribes, so you from two different tribes, you mix it in. You know what I'm saying? So the whole year of the return, I felt like was a scam. I said, I don't believe that people in Ghana care about us. I think they want our American money. I think they want us to come there with our American money, okay? I have zero desire to go visit a slave castle. For what? Okay, for what? Why? What's the point? I went to Senegal. I didn't go see that. First of all, I hated Senegal. I'm sorry, right? But I don't like, as you know, when traveling, when I've been to many countries, they didn't do this in Colombia, which I appreciate them for. And I don't believe this happened in Mexico. But so many countries that I've gone to, they change the price when they realize that you're American, okay? They realize, oh, you're from America? Oh, we're going to up the rates and we're going to change it. Everybody's trying to scam you. Everybody's trying to take your money. That's why I love countries that have Uber, okay? Because then the cab driver can't be trying to scam you. You pay with the app and that's it. If you don't have that, they're going to try to change the price, even when you negotiate prices. I mean, I talk about it in my video when I went to Dakar. Like, when I got to the airport, I was so scared because I paid the man what I agreed to pay him. And then he tried to act like I didn't give him enough, and he was following me around. And I thought, if this man lies on me and tells the police or somebody that I didn't pay him, I would be the one in trouble because I'm a foreigner. That's how it works, okay? That's why traveling out of the country can scare me, okay? So, a lot of people are making the comments that, because there's a lot of older white women who are moving to I don't know if the white women are moving to the Gambia, but there's a lot of older white women going to the Gambia to have sex with young black men, which I don't judge that, whatever. But I saw a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, they're not doing that to the white people that go there, you know, they're not treating the white people like that. I constantly saw those statements. And I believe that because one of my experiences in studying and one difference between black Americans and blacks in Africa and the Caribbean is that black Americans, we don't suck up to white people, okay? We don't. I have seen Africans and Caribbeans put white people, mediocre white people, on a pedestal who do not belong to be there, who do not deserve to be there, okay? Now, with black Americans, if you are playing, if you're in New Orleans playing music with some of the best musicians in New Orleans, the only way a white person will be there, if a white person is there, that's because they are just as good. They can play their asses off. Black Americans do not take mediocre white people and put them on a pedestal. Caribbeans do it and Africans do it. Okay, I've seen it constantly and it disgusts me. All right, I've seen, when I studied Congolese dance, and I think one of the teachers I studied with is on this live, but she's from Brazil and Guyana. She dances, she looks just like somebody from the Congo or West Africa. She dances just like them, okay, on the same level. But yet, I go to this Congolese dance camp in Hawaii, okay, and all I see is a bunch of white girls. And they really there was like 4 black people at this camp and a bunch of white people. And they were saying sarcastic things to the black Americans, not wanting to teach us certain things. But then here you go see them over here with all these white girls teaching them all these sacred songs and all this stuff. And you see this white group that had a Congolese dance company in Northern California, all white people that could not dance at all. Okay, California is too hippy-dippy too, okay? They couldn't dance at all because that kind of company would never exist in New York. And this Congolese man is taking this white dude who can't even, he can't even two-step on beat. Taking him to the Congo as an understudy. Up these white people's ass, right? But then they were trying to, block my teacher, who's teaching Congolese dance because she's not from the Congo. And honestly, you can't even find Congolese dance in America, okay? There's like a couple of classes in New York City. Then there's a family in the Bay Area, the Malonga family. They basically have a monopoly on it, and some of them are in Michigan, like Ann Arbor, Detroit, Michigan area, and from that same Malonga family. But that's it. You're not going to find Congolese dance in Atlanta. You're not going to find it in Chicago. You're not going to find it in D.C., Baltimore, Miami, or Philly. You're not going to find it in L.A. You're not going to find it in Texas. You're going to find it in the Bay Area, and you're going to find it in New York City and a little bit in Michigan, okay? But what you do find everywhere is West African dance, which is very generic to the djembe and has nothing to do with black dance in the Americas. The Congo does, right? But they gatekeep that. They don't want us to learn anything about that, okay? But yet, black people over here be looking at Africa, worshiping them, putting them on a pedestal. Oh, that's the motherland. Oh, those are my brothers and sisters. And oh, let me go over there so I can really be free. It's so naive. Okay, it's so naive. So